Yo, what's up, everybody? How y'all doing?
What's going on? You know what it is. This is R&J Fantasy Football Talk. I'm Rodney. This Jay. What's going on, man?
Hey, not much. Hey, we got 3 weeks down. Bye weeks to be coming up pretty soon. So
Yes.
trying to do this thing. How'd you make out this week? What up, Justin? I see you in the room already. Good to have you here.
I went 4-2 this week. I did pretty well,
Four
still
and
in
two.
thick of things in most leagues, so I'm sitting the top or at 2 in most leagues. So I'm good. Yeah, I'm
Not
definitely
bad,
good.
not bad. I also have 4 wins, but I play in 8 leagues, so I'm so my percentage is much worse. I'm four and
Yeah.
four up on that joint. So I got some improvement to do. I'm 3-0 in one league. Most of the leagues I'm two. The other like four, I think. 2-1. I have 3 leagues where I'm 1-2. Then I'm 0-3 in one league, but I'm 0-3 in a league where I'm number two in the league in scoring. So it's like, all right,
Well, I'm 0-3 in one league, but I just don't. I don't
yeah,
like the rules. I don't like nothing about the rules. It was a last second league that I joined. I just don't. I mean, it is what it is at this point. I paid my money already, so
yeah.
I'm gonna finish it out, try
Do
to
what
get
it
some
do.
wins. But I ain't too concerned though. It is what it
You
is.
got another reason to celebrate. I'm not gonna hate on you. Sitting at the top of the podium this week, 12-4 with your NFL picks. Uh,
I told you.
yeah,
I told you.
but you only came up by two, so we still
It's
close.
okay.
We still close. So it wasn't as far apart as we thought it would be. So you had 2 games. So congratulations, you're number one. But I'm still number one overall. So
I mean, it's fine. I told you I'm going against the grain for the rest of the time, try to make up these wins.
all
But
right,
slowly but surely, it's gonna
don't
it's gonna
don't
help
go
me
against
out.
the
So don't
grain
worry.
too much.
Oh well, I'm definitely going against the
All right,
grain
before we jump into
every
some
week.
stuff, let's look at this first question from Justin. He traded away Derek Carr and James Robinson and got Jonathan Taylor and Darius Slayton, and that's in a super flex league.
Why
I'm
did you
hoping
do
you were
that?
really good at quarterback, because
Back.
yeah, because Darius Slayton, to me, the problem with Darius Slayton is he doesn't stay healthy. Uh,
Yeah.
and I don't really know how much to believe in Danny Jones and James Robinson. Hey, I'm gonna
He
mention
showed
James
up.
Robinson a little bit later when we get to our news story. Jonathan Taylor, on the other hand, has not been Jonathan Taylor. I mean, he's had a good week. Recent, was it this week? I can't remember, but Jonathan Taylor has not been the RB1 I think that a lot of people thought he was going to be.
Yeah.
He's more of a RB. In fact, Naeem Hines is still outperforming him on a fairly
Very
regular
much.
basis, which is insane. I don't think anybody really called that one. So I hope that trade works out for you. He has some other questions. Would you start James Robinson or Javonte Williams in
James,
PPR?
James
Yeah.
Robinson.
Well, with the new look Jags, I'm definitely going James Robinson,
James Robinson.
assuming that
Yeah.
is the new look Jags. He says in that league his quarterback's in Mahomes, Herbert. He has to watch, I think, the Washington football team. Well, if you have Mahomes and Herbert, you can spare a Derek Carr. So if we can get Jonathan Taylor looking like Jonathan Taylor, I think that'd be really good for you.
I mean,
But
I would have got another wide receiver other than Slayton, though.
yeah, yeah. So
If
Slayton,
the way Derek Carr playing right now,
yeah,
you supposed to got at least a wide receiver two
yeah.
at minimum for him. So he balling out right now. He is the best quarterback in
He
fantasy right
is the best quarterback
now.
in
So
all of
yeah,
NFL. Forget fantasy.
yes,
Derek
yeah.
Carr is just the
I'm,
greatest. Well, before I get to this next question, here's a real life situation for me, right? Because Derek Carr's been so good, I have Aaron Jones as my starting quarterback. But I'm looking at this week's matchups and I said I might actually slide Derek Carr in my starting lineup and put Aaron Rodgers on the bench, which goes against my general philosophy of don't bench your studs. But
I would,
I'm enticed. Right,
I would bench just because of the fact he played Monday night
right.
and they in a barn burner matchup.
Yeah, that match with the
I'm
Chargers
benching
should
Aaron
be really
Rodgers.
good.
Yeah, I'm benching Aaron Rodgers because they gonna be a slugfest.
Yeah,
And I ain't saying y'all defense ain't good, but it's average. So
hey,
the
it's
Chargers
getting better.
It's getting better, but you know the Chargers gonna score.
Hey,
just like and then y'all gonna have to stay in it. So yeah.
But
I'm just saying, man.
Yeah, and my other fear is the fact that the Steelers suck, and this could be more of a Aaron Jones kind of day after a while. Like Aaron Rodgers might get his first initial 2 touchdowns maybe, and then we just turn to the running back show. I don't know. I haven't decided yet what I'm gonna do with that. But I like this next question. Justin asked: Tim Patrick or Hunter Renfrow? You know my answer.
Hunter Renfrow.
Yeah, I love Hunter Renfrow. But now here's what's interesting. KJ Hamler has that injury. He's done. And so Jerry Jeudy was already done.
So it's Tim Patrick.
It's really just Courtland Sutton and Tim Patrick in there. Yeah. The thing about, as much as I do love Hunter Renfrow, what's made the Raiders offense good and Derek Carr great is they're passing the ball around. Like everybody. I think there was like 5 different receivers. They had like 5 targets in this last game. So they're passing the ball around. I don't think Denver's going to have that luxury. So I think Tim Patrick is probably your more dependable guy because as much as that. Yeah. But now for me, again, I'm going to say Hunter Renfrow just because I'm a Hunter Renfrow guy. But logically.
But you can't be biased, though.
I'm very biased.
I mean, geez.
I'm super. But, hey, it's paying off. Hunter Renfrow is excellent.
But Tim Patrick going to be at least the number 2 at best. Hunter Renfrow is he the number 2 behind Waller?
And probably as far as consistency's sake, I say yeah.
Okay.
But it's hard. Like I said, it's hard to really tell. They probably don't want him to be the number 2, but he's so good at route runners and he's so depending. I think he probably is the 2.
Well, I would say this though: if you got Hunter Renfrow and you need to kind of set an edge a little bit, I'm going Hunter Renfrow just because of the fact they play Monday night. You're probably going to have the last game if you need any points, and it's going to probably be a shootout in that game. Okay. So if you're thinking about strategy-wise, you're going Hunter Renfrow just because of the fact they play Monday night. Okay. If you need points.
Hey, well, let's welcome Orlena Lewis and Anita Bracey to the show. Welcome and thanks for joining us. Let's hit some impacts of, then we get back to some of these questions. I see we got a few more in the chat. But
so we're gonna start with the quarterbacks, like we always do. Tom Brady in a losing cause, 41 of 55, 432, 1 touchdown. I mean, gosh, what can the man not do?
Raise your hand if you told everybody that the Rams were going to win that game. Oh, just me? Okay, just checking.
It's just you, whatever.
Yeah, but Tom Brady is the reason I'm 3-0 in one of my leagues. He's just ridiculous.
Tom Brady, same here. So, Derek Carr makes the list again. I mean, he's just been amazing this year so far. 26 of 43, 386, 2 touchdowns. Josh Allen finally showed up this year.
Right.
32 of 43, 358, 4 touchdowns.
And 74% completion percentage. That's what we've been waiting for. It's like you can't stay under 60%. So, yeah.
So, Matthew Stafford, probably the front runner for the MVP right now.
Yeah.
27 to 38, 343, 4 touchdowns. And that's coming from the 49ers fan. So, that's definitely big coming from me. Kirk Cousins is on this list. Mm-hmm. He's been playing well, even though they've been losing a lot, but he's been playing well. 30 of 38, 323, 3 touchdowns. Justin Herbert with the upset of the week against Kansas City, 26 of 38, 281, 4 touchdowns. So that's on my list. If you got some, shoot them.
Hey, you nailed all the ones I was going to say, so I've got nobody.
Good. We're on the same page like always.
Mm-hmm. Running backs?
Let's go running backs. Derrick Henry.
Always.
What can you say? 28, 113. He did score a touchdown. They won, but, 100 yards is good. Alexander Madison, who we dogged.
Yeah, I actually had a personal apology note I had to send to Alexander Madison because I was like, I hope people didn't listen to us because for once it actually panned out because the last few times Dalvin Cook has been hurt, people rushed to get Alexander Madison, and he's never delivered. This week, he delivered big time.
Yes, he did.
Rushing yards, 59 receiving. Hey, he can't argue with that.
And Peyton Barber. I don't know where he came from. I don't know. He came out of somewhere from the streets or something. 23 of 11,
Yeah.
23 carries, 111, one touchdown. Clyde Edwards-Helaire, he never gets 100 yards.
Yeah,
but that's
that
just
was
rare.
astonishing.
Yeah, 17 carries, 100 yards.
And that's why the Chiefs lost. They ran the ball. They're not supposed to run.
That's what ran the ball. Zeke, 17 carries, 95 yards, 2 touchdowns. I think that's the way the Cowboys are going to go more often. They're going to kind of have him carry the load when possible. So definitely, I can see them doing that. Receivers.
Najee Harris.
I'm getting there.
No, I'm saying, if we're talking receivers, Najee Harris.
But I'm getting there, Lord.
Go ahead.
Devonta Adams, 12 receptions, 132 and a touchdown.
Mm-hmm.
DJ Moore, 8 receptions, 126. Deshaun Jackson, 3 receptions, 120 and a touchdown. I mean, he still got it. I mean, what can you say? Mike Williams, 7 receptions, 122, 2 touchdowns. Now, that's one guy
Mike Williams
I did not expect to be doing this.
And
Mike Williams
and Keenan Allen is suffering because I'm here. Who would have thought Mike Williams, for once, would be the most dependable guy, and Keenan Allen is taking a huge back seat.
And finally, we have seen the real Justin Jefferson for the second time in a week. So 9 receptions, 118 yards, and a touchdown. And Mr. Old Reliable, Brandon Cooks, don't matter who's throwing the ball, 9 receptions, 112 yards. And Najee Harris, the running back from the Pittsburgh
the wide
Steelers.
receiver from the Pittsburgh Steelers. Go ahead.
Whatever you want to call it. 14 receptions, 102 yards.
How many rushing yards?
He didn't have 100. I'll tell you that. So, he didn't have 100. So, yeah. Last thing is tight ends. We only got 3 of those. Mark Andrews. 5 receptions, 109 yards. Kelsey, 7 for 104. And Kittle, 7 for 92. That's all we got.
Cool. All right, those are our impact players. Let's hit back on some of these questions before we get too deep. Boom. I got. Justin says he's playing. No wait, I skipped one. He says his squad is Matthew Stafford, Aaron Jones, I'm assuming. James Robinson, Tyreek Hill, Justin Jefferson, DJ Moore, Kyle Pitts, Dolphins D, and the Minnesota kicker. And then he's playing against Jalen Hurts. If Jalen Hurts plays anything like he did against the Dolphins, you're good to go. I mean, not Dolphins, against Dallas, then you're good to go there. He has Nick Chubb, Joe Mixon, Devonta Adams, Brandon Cooks, Henderson, Jared Cook,
and the
Saints defense, and Graham Gano, the Giants kicker.
He got that one. Just along with Stafford, Aaron Jones, Rob, Hill, Tyreek Hill. Yeah, he got that one.
Is Darrell Henderson guaranteed to play this week? Because I don't think so. So I'm assuming whoever you're playing is going to have to replace him with somebody. But I don't care who he replaces with. Yeah, I think that's a win there.
I mean, first of all, his quarterbacks are better. His quarterback is better. His running backs, they kind of wash each other out a little bit. Yeah. So does receivers, but just the quarterback alone is better. Yeah. At this point. So yeah.
Do you go with Westbrook on the Titans or Devontae Smith?
Man,
I hope someone other than either one of those would be my honest answer.
I don't know about that. Lord have mercy. Whew. Devontae Smith, I guess. That's Lord have mercy. Because I mean, Julio might not play.
Yeah, and that's why I'm thinking he might go with Westbrook on the. But it's such a gamble. I mean,
AJ Brown, they might run the ball 55 times.
They could.
I mean, jeez.
Yeah. I'm gonna. Yeah, I don't. I'm.
That's a tough one there.
Yeah.
I mean, I will feel more comfortable.
Here's the reason to start Devontae Smith. I'm gonna give you to you. They're playing against the Chiefs, and in theory, they should have to throw the ball a lot, assuming Jalen Hurts can get the job done. Now in Jalen Hurts' defense, he didn't get a lot of help from in fact, Devontae Smith on one of the plays fell down, and that caused the pick six. That's on him.
Yeah.
And I think it was Zach Ertz. Zach Ertz or Dallas Goedert, I can't remember. One of the tight ends dropped an easy pass that would have been another one for big yards. But I'm going to go with Devontae Smith only because I think he's more talented, but I don't feel comfortable either way. In the same vein, we got Westbrook, Gordon, and Galladay, and Antonio Brown dead to me. You got to start two of those.
I'm half tempted to say Galladay just because of the fact that Sterling Shepard is hurt. Slayton is hurt. Galladay is gonna be the bona fide number one on that receiving core. I just don't trust Daniel Jones.
Right.
That's my biggest thing.
Did you? Was it the Giants owner they kicking over trash cans? They're frustrated. They're 0-3. They should be.
I'm gonna say this. Yeah. They're gonna be looking for a quarterback soon.
I was hoping this would be the day. I'm not giving up, but I'm saying there's not a lot of hope there. Yeah, I agree.
Well, they got talent. They got a bunch of talent around him. He just, like we said at the beginning of the year.
Well, how many of the talented guys around him do we say they are always hurt?
All of them always hurt.
Everybody. Like
Ingram,
every position,
Saquon.
exactly. Wide receiver, tight end, Saquon Barkley. So, I mean, he has talent around him, but he doesn't have consistent talent around him.
Yeah, definitely, yeah.
But I still don't have faith in him a lot. So, yeah.
I just, AB.
He's dead to me, so I can never say.
We know.
I can never call him. Gordon I like more than anybody else.
He really splitting carries, though. He's splitting
carries, but he's been productive.
It's more than 50-50 though. He probably on the lesser end of the 50-50. So Galladay and Westbrook?
Maybe.
I mean, AB, because I think this game with the Patriots is gonna be all about
this is the return. Here's what could make that interesting. Because it's the return to New England, and there's a lot of New England guys in Tampa Bay, but I'm not using that as my motivation for starting Antonio Brown, even if he wasn't dead to me.
But he wasn't. He was there.
He was there for a little bit. He was. He played for them longer than he played for the Raiders.
I mean, that's true, but still, that's not the point. What I'm saying is this: Gronk is probably going to shine the most.
Yeah.
I think Gronk is gonna be not out for revenge, but more like him and Brady going in there like, look, we about to blow the doors off these guys, and we're gonna show them what they're missing, type thing. So I think Gronk is gonna have a good day, and I just think Godwin and Evans are gonna be. I would have those guys before I go AB.
Yeah, I've got 4 guys in my mind before I get to AB. Even though he's dead to me. All right.
Yeah.
Good question. Tannehill. I'm assuming Sam Darnold and Taylor Heineke. Start one for me is obviously Ryan Tannehill.
Yeah.
Well, because he's finally coming. Well, actually, maybe not.
Sam Darnold.
That's what I'm like. Well, it was obvious for a second, and then I thought about it. He might be missing quite a few of his wide receivers this week.
And
Sam Darnold is playing against who? The Dallas Cowboys. They're gonna have to sling that sucker. I'm going to go from obviously Ryan Tannehill to I'm thinking Sam Darnold. Yeah.
I'm thinking Sam
Darnold. Yeah.
Yeah, Sam Darnold is definitely the one I guess this week is more reliable than Tannehill.
Yeah.
Heineke just looks.
I say like this. By Saturday, when you watch the 40-second play clock, we'll hopefully know more information about Tannehill's wide receivers. Yeah. But right now, I'm thinking Sam Darnold.
Yeah, I'm thinking Sam Darnold too.
All right, I don't even want to read this next comment. I don't like this, Justin. He has the Chargers beating the Raiders. You used to be so lovely. Now look at you. Nah. Anyway, he's got the 49ers beat. This is West Coast bias over here. I'm not feeling you, Justin. We used to be cool. He also got Minnesota beating the Browns. Obviously, I disagree on the Raiders. I think the Raiders beat the Chargers. The 49ers, I think you got that one right. The Minnesota-Cleveland game is interesting to me.
I got Minnesota.
You got Minnesota too?
Yeah.
I haven't made my pick yet. You gotta have to wait for the 40-second play clock, but I'm kind of leaning that way. We'll see where it goes. Thanks for the questions. He said, do I win this league? Then we get to a few other things. You got Mahomes, Najee, Jonathan Taylor, Cooper Kupp, OBJ, TJ Hockenson, Gordon, Devontae Smith, and is this Herbert the kicker?
Probably. No, Superflex.
Oh, Superflex. Did he say that before? I missed it. But okay, Justin Herbert, I think you win. Just let me see who the second who you're playing against.
Jalen Hurts.
So far, yeah. Jalen Hurts, Eckler, Chuba. Here's the thing, Chuba Hubbard. They mixed in Royce Freeman a lot, and I barely remember Royce Freeman was in the league. I still like Chuba. I think he'll be having I think the majority of the carries. But we got Tyreek Hill, DJ Moore, your boy George Kittle, Sutton, Patterson, and Kirk Cousins. This is a super flex.
Yeah, super flex. I still think he wins.
Yeah. I'm going with Justin's team on this.
I mean,
Mahomes, Cooper Kupp is unstoppable, and apparently Nigel Harris is one of the best wide receivers in football because the Patriots. I'm not a hater. I'm a truth teller.
Yeah, such a hater.
I bring truth and honesty, American justice, whatever.
I mean, you gotta stop hating on Najee Harris.
How's he doing on that 1,000 yards?
It's a long season.
It's a long. And on that note, you can see at the bottom, we're talking rating rookies, including Najee Harris. But probably of the biggest interest might be the quarterbacks. This was a terrible week for rookie quarterbacks. What you got on them?
Well, you know my take on coming out of the draft.
Right.
Zach Wilson, we all knew the situation with the Jets.
Yeah.
They knew they were bad. The O-line was bad. So we kind of figured that he's gonna be running for his life. Which is what he's doing. He's running for his life. Right. But I don't think he's playing bad. I just think he doesn't have time to do anything.
He's not doing well since he's not doing well. He's got 7 interceptions so far. Added 2 more, I think, just this past week. But I mean, here's my feeling about Zach Wilson, and we talked about Zach Wilson before the season started, and I was like, he's going to play for the Jets, so I don't see how this situation is going to be any better for him than it was for Sam Darnold. So, I mean he's about as terrible as I would expect. Now he has 628 passing yards, so he's getting it around. That's as far as the rookies. There's only 2 rookies quarterbacks that have thrown for more yards than he has. So I think there's hope there, but I mean there's so many problems with the Jets.
It is, and I mean you see Sam Darnold he's a better quarterback now where he's at when he has talent. When he has talent and a line protection. So I don't think it's Zach Wilson. I just think it's the team in a whole. That's why he can't be productive like that. Now, I had my reserves about Matt Jones coming out. I said Matt Jones was a product of the system in Alabama, which I was right again. So they have this stat now called air yards, which is the amount of how far you're throwing the ball as far as distance. Right. So his air yards is under 6.0, which is really bad if you're thinking about it. He's not even throwing over 10 yards he's bad. And they made a bad decision by cutting Cam when they should have let him sit just a tad bit and then bring him into Cam, because I thought that was the plan going forward. But obviously they felt he was the right person for the job, but we see he's not right now. So I'm not a big fan of Matt Jones. I think Matt Jones is going to be a bust at some point. So I think he's a bust now personally. But that's just me.
I mentioned that there was only 2 guys that have thrown for more yards than Zach Wilson amongst the rookies. At the top of that list is Mac Jones. And I think he's doing it with looking at the other teams. It's hard to say you have a worse receiving core than Davis Mills has or
Jalen Hurts. Not Jalen.
Zach Wilson. Yeah.
Zach Wilson, yeah.
I was like, who's the guy that we've just been talking about? But Mac Jones does not have a really good wide receiving core either. So the fact that he's thrown for 737, and like you said, it's been mostly dunking, very short passes. But I would say Mac Jones is playing actually better than I thought he would. I'm still not picking him for my fantasy squads, but
you gotta think about this. They can't run the ball.
No.
So when you can't run the ball, you gotta throw the ball. So he's gonna get the yards.
Yeah.
He's gonna dink and dunk down the field, obviously, but he's gonna get the yards. It's just you see what he is without talent around him. That's my whole point.
Yeah.
It's just like Tua. It's just like Jalen Hurts. They're all Alabama quarterbacks. If you look around and you look in the past 10, 12 years, all Alabama quarterbacks haven't been good because of you coming from a system in Alabama where these guys are wide open,
right,
to a system where these guys to the NFL where it's a tight window and you have to get it there.
And they made that point in that Philly Dallas game that the open windows you had in Alabama, those are gone. You got to get the ball on a tight string, and so we'll see.
Now,
yeah, go ahead.
So we got 2 more quarterbacks left. Justin Fields. I don't blame him at all.
I blame Matt Nagy, and I think that's been universally discussed. So yeah.
I seen something the other day on Instagram. I was just going through, and I seen something on ESPN. The guy was like, they had 149 days from the draft to now to put a game plan in for Justin Fields.
Right.
And what they did for him was intentional on Sunday. And I think he did that on purpose to destroy this kid, honestly. Because you telling me you got a kid that can run and throw the ball on a rope, and you're going to sit him in a pocket the whole entire game, knowing that O-line is not great. Good. It don't make any type of sense. Now, he probably did that to destroy his confidence.
Well, he probably did it because he's a terrible coach also. I mean, like I said, Matt Nagy is awful at his job. And like I've been saying since last year, he should have been fired along with
GM.
The whole everybody from top to bottom, right? The GM, they just need to. They're trying. They drafted Justin Fields to save their jobs. At least the GM did, but they're not using him for any of the talent that he has. They're not designed. They didn't have a system in place for him. So I'm like, it's obvious who the problem is. Now, unfortunately, this affects me, which is the most important thing, because I had in my bold predictions Justin Fields would be the starter, which he will be, and that was going to elevate the offense. Somehow, in my stupidity, I assumed they would actually try to use Justin Fields' skills based off how good he looked in the preseason, and apparently it's one game with him as the starter, so I reserve the right to be wrong, but I'm hoping that's not an indicator of what we're going to see.
Well, see, the problem with that is I read that they saying that Justin Fields could start this week.
Yeah.
Dalton could start this week. Oh, he said like 3 quarterbacks could start this week. My thing is, if you just give the keys to Justin Fields and you do right by him by running some naked bootlegs,
right,
by moving him to outside of the pocket, you will make him a better He's already a good quarterback, right, but you got to understand the situation. It's no talent on that offensive line.
Right.
So you got to do what's necessary to protect him. You're allowing this kid to get killed, and what you're going to do, he's going to turn into a Mitch Trubisky 2.0
Right.
again, and you're gonna kill his career. He needed to be fired yesterday,
Yeah.
bro. Like, stop.
So
I'm just saying, it don't make sense, man.
much like the other quarterback that we have, and that's Trey Lance, who, hey,
Oh,
he's throwing 100% completion rate, and every pass has been for a touchdown. And then he
yes.
came in and ran for. He's the perfect quarterback for the limited plays that he's been given. So
Well, this is a touchy subject for me because maybe somebody ain't seeing something I ain't seeing. I mean, I love football. I watch football a lot, so maybe I'm seeing something wrong. You tell me. You telling me you got a guy that goes seven for 15. I'm sorry. He was 1 for 5 for
mm,
15 yards and an interception in the first half of Sunday night. So you explain to me, how can you sit here and come to a podium and say that he has been playing great and that he deserves to start? This doesn't make any sense to me.
yeah,
What am I missing?
you're missing the fact that Jimmy G is going to be the quarterback in San Francisco for no apparent reason. I don't
Oh my
see
gosh.
why you, much like I don't see why you trade for not trade, but you move up to get Justin. You have the Justin Fields falls in your lap, and you don't plan to have him running the offense and seeing what he can do. You trade up for Trey Lance to have him sit behind Jimmy G when it's kind of apparent this is going to be Trey Lance's team. I don't under, I don't I'm all for the fact of, if you go back in the olden days, if you will,
Yeah,
rookie quarterbacks would sit and wait. That ain't the NFL we're in now. You put these
it's
guys
not.
in and build a system around them so they can grow and get better. And I don't see either of these teams really doing that to this point. So I
Well,
can't tell you.
I would say this: Mac Jones, Zach Wilson, Trevor Lawrence. They're all not playing great, right?
Right.
But the one thing that they're gonna have over a Justin Fields at this moment in a Trey Lance is the experience of playing in a live game with the speed of the NFL.
Mm-hmm.
So they're gonna have the upper leg on those two quarterbacks just because of that. And just say Justin Field doesn't play another down as a starting quarterback this year, and Trey Lance doesn't start a game. Period. Those guys have a bigger advantage because they have played a whole season,
Right.
so they can allow to make mistakes, and they can go in the off season and fix their mistakes on what they did wrong. They can go back and watch the film and say,
Right.
"Hey, I should have did this better." But Justin Fields and Trey Lance should be on the field doing the same exact thing, because honestly, I think Trey Lance and Justin Fields are the two best quarterbacks in this
Right.
draft right now. So just by pure athleticness, they're better.
Okay.
Zach Wilson can move around, but Zach Wilson's in a horrible situation. Trevor Lawrence, we all talked about that. We know what the situation with that. And Mac Jones, he's in a great situation as far as team wise,
Yeah.
but he's just not the quarterback. He's not going to be a great quarterback in my eyes. So that's the thing I take away from all these quarterbacks. They have the opportunity to learn from their mistakes early.
Yeah.
These other Justin Fields and Trey Lance don't.
Well, on Justin Fields, let's hit another question. Justin I asked, should he drop Justin Fields in this one quarterback league? Right now, his starter is Matthew Stafford, and you can pick up Kirk Cousins, Sam Darnold, or Watson. I say, and he says he gets scared because Kyle Pitts had another bad game, which he did.
He did.
We're gonna talk more rookies, and Kyle Pitts is coming up, but that's one of the more disappointing ones for me. So
Yeah.
I can definitely get with doing that if it's gonna allow you to pick up someone to maybe help that situation out.
I will pick up.
But honestly, for me, in a one quarterback league, Justin Fields isn't doing it for me. He wouldn't be on my squad at all. So yeah, I would definitely drop him. Especially if you could pick up someone like you said, Kirk Cousins, who's been
Yes.
balling out. So yeah,
Yes, he
I
has.
dropped Justin Fields for him in a heartbeat. He says Justin also thinks that Trevor Lawrence is overhyped. We had that discussion earlier, and here's the deal. I like Trevor Lawrence when he was in Clemson. I think he's going to be a decent enough quarterback in the NFL, but I don't understand the glorious hype he's received. He's thrown 5 touchdowns, 7 interceptions, 669 yards passing, and 46 on the ground. He has as many rushing yards as Justin Fields has. Played a lot more snaps, but still. I think he's a good quarterback, and I think he's probably, as far as, except for the coach, and I've talked about this before, I'm not a big fan of Urban Meyer, but as far as the talent on the team, in theory, I think Trevor Lawrence landed in the best spot of all the other rookie quarterbacks. So I would be hard pressed to doubt the fact that he'll be successful. Not this year, but he's a rookie. And my sum it all up point with all these guys is that rookies, give them time. I'm not panicking on any of them. Quite frankly, and I've said this before, I'm not starting a rookie. My fantasy football team would never depend on a rookie because they're rookies. They're going to make some terrible mistakes. So if you have these guys, they're hopefully on your bench. And if you're in the dynasty league, when you'll need them is years down the line, or at least a year down the line. So not panicking. Trevor Lawrence, I think, is in the best situation. I don't know whether I believe he's the best quarterback of the group, but I at this point, I'm willing to say he'll probably be the most successful given the situation as soon as they get rid of Urban Meyer.
I think I disagree with you as far as.
Well, of course, you're going to say Trey Lance, right? Because
of course,
but that's assuming he can get the job from Jimmy G, right?
Well, okay, let's just play a little game here.
Okay.
If you're putting talent beside talent on both teams, right now, the 49ers have more talent than the Jacksonville Jaguars. So I feel like if you were to stick Trevor Lawrence, any of those rookie quarterbacks on that team, they will be more successful than going to the other teams. Now, my question for you is Trevor Lawrence a product of the system from Clemson? Because Clemson doesn't get the blue chip players like Alabama, but they do get blue chip players. Was he a product of the system playing in Clemson with those blue chip players, or is it more like we seeing the real Trevor Lawrence?
Well, like I said, it's hard to say what the real Trevor Lawrence, because like you said, he's been in the system where he had to do well because he had so much talent around him on that Clemson team. I definitely give you that, but I don't think he's in a system now where they have to really depend. And this is something we'll get to when, because we didn't do the NFL news yet, but when we get to that, we'll chat. We can do that near the end. But he's in my main point about him is he's in a system now, if it's well coached, that it's built for him to succeed. Okay. He has every opportunity to still be successful. What we're seeing now, I think, is just Trevor Lawrence trying to adjust to the NFL. And that's like true. I said, I think we have to just give that some time and see how it goes. But like I said, I like Trevor Lawrence in Clemson. I like him in the NFL. I just think he's getting a tad bit overhyped for now. We have to see it later. I'm with you. If we're talking talent for talent, I also do like Trey Lance's situation. Assuming I think I can't see this year ending without him being the starter.
I mean, I put it this way. The next 2 games are going to be a telltale of if he's going to get in. Because the next 2 games are division games. So, honestly, this week should be a telltale against Seattle. And if he comes out and lay an egg against Seattle, then Trey Lance comes in at least after the bye week when we play the Colts. So I can see week 8, when we come out off a bye, him coming in. But if he don't come in at that point, he's probably not going to play until later on in the season, where you'll see more of a Mahomes situation with Alex Smith. Mahomes played that last game, and Alex Smith played the remainder of the playoff that year. So it may be something like that, but I don't think Do I think Shanahan trusts him right now? I think Shanahan doesn't trust him as far as most of the playbook. But like I was just telling somebody last week,
Right.
you don't have to give him the whole playbook. You
Right.
can give him a package of plays per week to get him used to playing.
They seemingly already have a somewhat package ready for him because they have these certain plays they bring him in on.
Yeah.
Expand it. Yeah, I'm with you.
I mean, if you give him 30, 35 playlists for the whole entire game,
Right.
and just run off that, then you can kind of stretch it out even more every week. And that way he can get acclimated to playing on the field with the game as far as game speed. Because you're not going to learn just by coming in for 2 snaps every other week. That's why I say these other guys that's playing, the Trevor Lawrences, the Zach Wilson, these guys are playing already. And they're making mistakes.
They're getting 100% of their team's snaps versus Justin Fields, who's gotten 51%, and that's really because of injury. And Trey Lance, only 4% of snaps.
Yeah,
so it's like, yeah.
Yeah. Even David Mills is getting a shot to play.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just you have to be out there. You
can't learn on the bench. Right.
You can't learn on the sideline. You can't. It don't make no sense. Definitely. But I think all of them in the end will be okay. I just think, like with Urban Myers, it's going to take Urban Myers probably leaving for Trevor Lawrence to be better.
Maybe, because there's a glimpse of hope, and I'm going to hold out on this, just a little bit of teaser from my man Justin, because at the end of our last show, he asked about a certain player, and there's a glimmer of hope. Going to a question that was up earlier on the thing, just to say he's going to play the Packers defense this week if Deontay Johnson and TJ Watt are out. And if they play, he's going to play the Dolphins. He had a question earlier about should he play the Washington football team's defense, the Bears defense, the Packers, or Miami. I suggested the Packers because we already have seen that the Steelers can't run the ball. They're a one-dimensional offense, and again, the way the Packers are playing right now, they're going to be even more so that. And so I think they're going to be forced in a situation where they have to throw the ball and probably throw the ball down the field, which they have not been able to do at all. You talked about how low the air yards have been for Mac Jones. Similar for Ben Roethlisberger. All he's doing is he has, I think, more. He's either first or second in the league in attempts, but they're all short yardage. They can't stretch the ball. And I think if that's their best offense, the Packers are going to eat that up. Not that the Packers have a very good defense, but they can defend against that real easily.
But you got to stretch in this league nowadays. You can't, and I think that air yards thing. I kind of like that a little bit. I like that because it tell you how the quarterback is either stretching the field or not stretching the field. And the thing is, if you know football, if you don't stretch the field, they're gonna throw 8 in the box to make you stretch the field. And they're keying on the 5 and outs, the 10 and posts, anything you're doing under 15 yards, under 20 yards, they're going to key on that anyway. So they're going to have a down safety that comes down in that range, and they're going to make you throw the ball. If you can't get the ball down the field, you're not going to keep up with the teams that can do it. Like the Chiefs of the world and all that stuff. You can't. It's just not going to happen.
It's not looking great.
Air yards mean a lot.
Right. Nita asked the question, why the Jets are perennial losers? Because they are. From the owner all the way down. I won't blame the coach yet because it's his first year, but this is the office that hired Adam Gase. So they're just
it's
terrible.
the front office. It's definitely Salah is a good coach. Yeah, he's just a rookie coach, but he's a defensive minded coach.
Right.
So and then you bring in somebody from he brought in our old assistant office coordinator. So they're running the same type of offense. So I say give them time, but over the years he's always been the owner.
But the evidence is he won't, and this is why I feel bad for Salah. The history has said he's not going to get the time he needs to turn the Jets around.
Oh no, they have to give him at least 3 to 4 years to turn it around.
Good luck with that.
They're not gonna do it. They're gonna give him 2 years, and they probably gonna get rid of him. So
they're
I'd be surprised.
interviewing people right now. So the Jets are just terrible. What's our take on Richard Sherman going to Tampa Bay?
I mean, Tom Brady talked to him and he said, "Hey, come join me and get a ring." I ain't mad at him. I mean, I wish he would have signed with us, but I mean, I can't be mad at him. That's a good move for him.
I think that's an excellent move for him.
Good move. I can't be mad at him
because the Tampa Bay secondary has not been, I think, what people expected, and so I think that's a good sign for him. So, best of luck. I won't say best of luck. Forget that. I don't like Tampa Bay. I hope they all right.
Lord have mercy.
So, forget them.
Nah, best of luck to Richard Sherman. I like Richard Sherman.
Whatever.
So yeah. Okay. I'll take that.
All right. Who you think has a better chance of making the playoffs? The 49ers? I don't even know why I'm asking you. The Raiders, of course. The Broncos or the Panthers? I say the Broncos are X'd out on my list only because that AFC West is almost as tough as the NFC West. And right now the Broncos are 3-0, but look at the teams they played. They haven't played a winning team. They haven't played a team that's won a game. They play all 0-3 teams. So I'm not believing the Broncos until I see them beat somebody that matters.
I think the same thing with the Panthers, though. The Panthers ain't playing nobody with a record.
I was going to say, looking at that division, because here's the best shot of making the playoffs. Can you win your division? The Broncos, no, they can't.
No.
The Panthers, they have to get past New Orleans, who I would say is better. And bigger than that, they got to get past Tampa Bay.
Yeah, so no.
I don't like – so if I'm going to say between these four, it's going to be between the 49ers and the Raiders. And I already told you who's going to the Super Bowl from the NFC. And so Raiders.
49ers.
No, that's not what 49ers. I told you. Don't lie.
49ers.
Okay.
I'm stating facts. That's all. I'm just stating facts. It's all good. It's a long season, man. It's a very long season.
Hey, they have the second best chance of every team on that list. So,
I guess.
Hey, let's see how they get when they play the Cards. Then I get back at you.
Okay, whatever. Well, we're gonna jump into some news. Let's get some news.
You don't want to talk about? Well, we can come back. Yeah, we'll do news.
Come back
because I want to talk about some skill. We talked quarterbacks, but quarterbacks always get all the love. I want to talk about some other, but let's do news first because I want to get to a couple of news stories that have been very interesting this week. So, what's your first news story?
Marlon Mack is seeking a trade. I like Marlon Mack, man. Right. Marlon Mack, when healthy, is really good now, but the only question is he good because of that old line, or is he good just in general? I actually like Marlon Mack, though. I think anybody that gets him is going to be pretty excited what they get. So,
I would say, much to your point, depending on where he ends, because they just recently agreed to work out a trade with some team for him to go have his freedom. Yeah. I think it's going to depend a lot on where he ends up. There's been some running back injuries, so I think he should get some interest in the next, maybe not this week, but I would be surprised if he's not on a team within the next 2 or 3 weeks. So he's someone you might think about picking up and stashing on your bench, because depending on where he lands, he could definitely do some work. Like I said, it depends on the offensive line, because that offensive line is so good in Indianapolis that they can make you look better than you are. But
that's true.
I still take the chance. I think he'll end up somewhere.
Then we got Josh Gordon, fresh off the weed, signing with KC.
I'm setting the timer for him to be out of the league again.
Well, he can't be out of the league again. Weed is legal.
Okay.
I mean, it's legal. What are they going to suspend him for smoking weed? It's legal now.
They suspended him for drinking because as part of his agreement to come back, he had to stay away from drugs and alcohol, and he could. Josh Gordon can't stay in the league. I'm going
to tell you this, though.
Yeah.
I have never seen a guy get more chances a day in my life. This
what
man
are we
got
on,
so many lives.
12th time he's been reinstated?
Jeez, man. Like, this guy get more lives, and I don't get it, man.
More lives than Antonio Brown.
Well, Antonio Brown had a few now. He had a few now.
Yeah.
Antonio Brown had been in some trouble, but he definitely had a few. But this guy, I don't know what it is. He must got something on the commissioner or something.
But I say he and Goodell play golf together or something. Or they smoke together. No, more likely.
He get reinstated
Every
every
year.
time.
And plays for like 4 games, and then he disappears. So
And people sign him. And I mean, people
sign him.
actually go out
Now,
there and sign him.
how do you like him with the Chiefs? We were talking earlier about who might benefit or who might suffer with him on the team.
I think McCole Hardman's gonna suffer the most.
Right.
Those McCole Hardmans and all those little small wide receivers, he's probably gonna be the third option.
Right.
Behind Kelsey and Tyreek Hill. After that is a toss-up between him and McCole Hardman, who they want to use. But don't be surprised now if he come in and he starts in the 2 wide receiver set over McCole Hardman.
Right.
And takes the spot. So don't be surprised on that. So he's a vet, so he's bigger. He's bigger than McCole Hardman. He a vet. They probably squeeze him in, but he might look good in that system. He's gonna look good. Anybody can look good playing with Kansas City.
Right.
So that's the thing. So he might come out and just start blowing up out of nowhere. So we'll see. Yeah.
I say this. He has a shot. Here's the biggest question. Are you picking him up on your fantasy rosters?
No.
Yeah, me neither. I'm like, I can live with missing out on Josh Gordon. So
me too.
Yeah.
Yeah. I've seen people ran to pick them up. Okay.
Yeah. I've seen this. We talk for auction, but I've seen people bet like $14, $15 in auction leagues to pick them up. I'm like, I wouldn't have bet $1.
I mean, come on.
Yeah.
I mean, because he might not even. Is he on the practice squad or is he on the actual roster?
Well, the last story I saw was that they're signing him, and I hadn't even seen whether he was actually officially signed yet, so I'm not sure.
Okay.
But
and my other news was Richard Sherman going to Tampa, but that's been solved already. So yeah. What you got?
I've got the biggest news story of all.
And what's that?
Urban Meyer says, "Yeah, those guys. Speaking of Robinson and Carlos Hyde are running hard, and we're gonna get the ball to them." And it took only 3 weeks for him to realize. Didn't James Robinson kinda have 1,000 yards last year as a rookie? He might be kind of good. So going to our Trevor Lawrence situation, they don't even recognize the talent that's on that team, and they just came up with some crazy scheme. So if you are a fan of Trevor Lawrence, if you're a fan of the Jaguars, I don't know why you would be. But more so, if you have James Robinson on your fantasy football teams, you can kind of rejoice because he's only had 16 carries the first 2 weeks. 16 carries for a guy who had 1,000 yards last year. But now they kind of realize that running the ball is important. So that's my biggest news story.
I don't believe it.
You don't believe it?
I mean,
you think he's going to still mess this up?
No, I think he has to protect Trevor Lawrence.
Yeah, he has to. Right.
He got to.
The guy has thrown 7 interceptions.
Yeah, he
Take the ball out of his hands, have some balance on your team, and then you can bring him on a bit slower. So, yeah. Boss Man Fat asks us, who do you think is going to win the Cowboys-Panthers game? Well, I bet against the Cowboys last week, and it did not pay off that well for me. I'm going with the Cowboys this week.
Yeah, I'm going with the Cowboys this week, too. Yeah.
It's going to be interesting to see this offense because Sam Darnold's going to Sam Darnold's been really good, and one of us called Sam Darnold having a really good career year. But he's kind of been able to hide behind Christian McCaffrey, right? Because that's who the offense is based around. Now we're going to see Sam Darnold have to be – and what better team to do it against than the Cowboys where, they're going to have to put up at least 30-something points to win this game. So that's going to be a lot of Sam Darnold involvement.
I think the defense of the Cowboys is going to step up.
Yeah.
That's the most surprising for me.
Yeah.
Because they playing good.
They are lights out. And I was like, and we talked about this earlier. Dan Quinn, he's a coordinator, and you can see what he was completely unable to do with the Falcons as far as that terrible defense that's still terrible. He's turning the Cowboys defense around, and I have to give him credit because I thought they were going to struggle with the Eagles a lot more than they did, and nah.
Well, like I told you the other night, some coaches are meant to be coaches, and some coaches are meant to be defensive coordinators or offensive coordinators. He probably had too much on his plate as a head coach.
Yeah.
And he just needed to focus on being a defensive coordinator, which he specializes in. So that could be the thing. So at the end of the day, I watched that game, and that defense was flying all over the place. Now, granted, it was against the Eagles, but still.
But they've looked decent this entire year. Hey, Trayvon Diggs, he's got an interception in every game, so
yeah,
I can't be mad at him.
Also, I got a couple more right quick.
Thanks for the question, boss man. Fat
James White is out for the season.
Out for the year, yeah.
Who steps up to become the leading rusher or catching out the backfield?
Catching out the backfield. I originally saw that James White was out, and I was like, hey, maybe this is a chance for my man Ramondre Stevenson, but I don't think it's going to be him. I don't think that's his strong suit, at least not for what we've seen thus far. So with him out, it's going to be probably a combination. Damian Harris isn't too shabby at that, but who's the other guy they have there? Taylor or something?
I despise all the running backs, so I don't know who they are because they have he doesn't commit to one.
Yeah, so that's what makes Belichick.
Yeah,
right.
So I mean, do they rely on the passing game more, being that they can't throw out the backfield, or does Damian Harris get 25 carries a game?
Well,
just don't know at this point.
You said it yourself. They're not really launching the ball down the field, so I'm gonna say they definitely run the ball. Well, here's the test. They play Tampa Bay this week, so we're gonna find it out pretty quickly. But I'm not putting any faith or waiver claims on any of those guys because I'm with you. New England, James White, we talked about, is the only reliable running back that New England have had over the years. With him out, then nah, I want no parts.
Yeah.
What's the other guy's name though? It starts with a J. I want to say his last name is Taylor or something. I
can't think of his name. They got so many off the wall running backs. You just don't know these guys. I just don't know where they go from here. Yeah. Like I like Damian Harris, but do you put the ball in Damian Harris' hands and say, okay, we're gonna give you 20, 25 carries? Because we all know Belichick. Yeah. If you fumble, you're in the doghouse. Good luck with that.
Do they have a choice other than to really roll with Damian Harris?
No, I mean.
By the way, I just looked up J.J. Taylor. Why did I not remember J.J.? Oh, Justin just clicked it in as well. J.J. Taylor's the guy I was thinking about, but I'm not putting any hopes in that at all.
I mean, I don't even know who J.J. Taylor is at this point, to be honest with you. Right. Damian Williams is probably the only one that probably going forward I would. I mean,
if I'm a Damian Harris guy, I'm expecting his workload to increase.
It should.
And that's the only guy I have. So, like I said, if Ramondre Stevenson was more of a catching running back, I'd like him in this situation, but I don't think this situation benefits him, or at least not from what we've seen so far.
Well, Ramondre Stevenson is pretty fast. He's pretty good. Yeah, he's fast. He showed off in the preseason, but
I don't think he takes third. I don't think he jumps into like third down back. Maybe.
So is Damian Harrison the 3-down back now?
Like you said, these other guys that they're working out, I have no confidence in. So I think so until further notice.
Okay.
Welcome, my father, the other Jasper Lewis, the first Jasper Lewis, to the show. He's been hearing bits and pieces. Good show. He says Eagles power. Nah.
No.
Lessons learned.
No. I told him about that the other night. I told him the other day. I told him when I seen him Saturday.
I wanted so much to believe in the Eagles. I put my hopes on them last week, and watching that game, I was like, no, I can't do it.
I told y'all the Eagles. it's something about them Alabama quarterbacks, man. And I'm not even blaming that whole game on Jalen Hurts because a lot of that came down to the O-line not blocking. The interception wasn't his fault. So it's things that was out of his control.
Yeah.
It could be on coaching, bad decision, but he still got to learn how to read plays because he made a lot of mistakes, penalties, where he didn't look like he was reading the coverage.
Yeah.
So that
he wasn't going, and he was telegraphing his passes. He has to stop doing that. I'm gonna get.
He was
like
doing that.
He's not a rookie like we were talking about before, but he's almost. He's just barely an inch away from being a rookie. So I'm gonna still say give it some time, but he's got to improve in quite a few areas.
I mean, he literally was staring down he was staring down the receivers, and then he got a couple of calls where he ran out of the pocket. Well, they ran like a play action, and the guy was ineligible downfield, so they got penalties for that. It's just like he has to pay attention a little bit more. And like I said, a lot of it wasn't on him, but a lot of it was at the same time. So he just got.
It's enough for me to say that the Eagles are not in the same league with the Cowboys, which hurts my heart, I have to admit. And so I'm looking the Washington football team's defense. I don't know what happened to them over the offseason. They're awful. The Giants are the Giants, who's awful. There's no way the Cowboys lose that division.
They shouldn't lose. They shouldn't lose the division. If they do, then it's a crying shame, I tell you.
Yeah.
Then the coach needs to be fired if they lose that division.
Probably.
We're going to do some waiver wire pickups.
All right.
Then we're going to jump back into a little bit more rookies.
End with a few more rookie stuffs.
Yeah. So Peyton Barber is a good waiver wire pickup.
Keep watching the news on Josh Jacobs, but it's not looking very promising. so
they're saying he might not play this week.
Yeah, so I'm watching, but I'm expecting Peyton Barber to, and it's crazy to me because I thought that situation would work well for Kenyon Drake because he's been the feature back before, and no,
that's surprising though because Kenyon Drake they signed him to big money and he didn't even something's going on there that we don't know about. Emmanuel Sanders. If you believe the hype of Emmanuel Sanders,
right?
I mean, he'll be a great pickup. He did have his first good game in 3 games, so yeah. I'm showing a lot of Raider love on this show tonight.
The Raiders are really good. I don't know if you heard, we're undefeated.
The only person I like that much is like Derek Carr right now because he's winning me games, but
you ain't getting him on waiver wires.
No, you can't get him on waiver wires. Henry Ruggs, finally, he's been showing up for the last couple of weeks, and I've been telling you I like Henry Ruggs though.
Yeah,
you keep saying he's a speed guy.
He is a speed guy.
That's
his job. But hey, that speed guys can be. Hey, Tyreek Hill's a speed guy, so.
Yeah, but Tyreek Hill also can run the routes too. So
Henry Ruggs
he ain't that yet.
He ain't that yet. No.
And speaking of New England, Jacoby Myers actually had a good game last week.
Yeah,
he got a lot of targets. Real good targets. Him and I can't think of his other guy's name. He used to play for us. I can't think of his name to say
Kendrick
my life
Bourne.
right now. Kendrick Bourne. Yeah. Him and Kendrick Bourne got about 8 targets apiece. So, I mean, he was, again, dinking and dunking, but it's nothing down the field. But they getting targets, and that's what you want. You want to get targets. So, that's what I have for waiver wire pickups.
Well, since you said Kendrick Bourne, let's get a Justin question then. Who do you drop? Kendrick Bourne, Westbrook, or Slayton in my Superflex league? He's going to pick up Mac Jones to be his QB4. On that list, I think I'm dropping Slayton just because.
Slayton hurt, though.
Yeah, that's why I'm dropping Slayton. I'm dropping Slayton because of his injury history. You're going to end up having to drop him anyway. So, you know, beat the rush. You could say you were the first one to do it. So.
Yeah, Slayton's definitely hurt. So that would be Slayton would be. And as far as picking up Mac Jones as your 4th, If you have any other option out there, I would not pick up Mac Jones.
For a super flex, for your fourth quarterback, you can do worse. But, he's my QB4 that I'm hoping to never start except for bye weeks. I say that much. Yeah. Madison over Cook. I think so. Cook is looking questionable again. We'll see.
Yes.
We'll have to see how it goes into the weekend. Madison, like we said, we wrote our apology letters, put them in the mail. Hey, he did his thing. But now that we're saying yes, he probably will suck again, like he has.
I think can he continue being good?
Justin likes Dan Carlson, of course. He's the greatest kicker on the greatest team in history. No, not really.
Robbie Gold.
Justin Tucker just hit that 66.
Whatever. Oh my gosh.
That's because you don't watch TV.
Yeah. Hey, wait. No, Justin. He says imagine Ruggs and Hill on the same team on the Chiefs with Patrick Mahomes. No, we would not imagine that. I'm hit this ban button. Look, that's really the second time today you've insulted our Raiders, Justin. About to unfollow. Andy Dalton or Davis Mills. He can get those. No. Mac Jones. Yeah. Exactly. That's how I said. There's worse options than Mac Jones. So yeah. And those are two examples of worse options. Davis Mills is interesting though, in as much as this past week he probably had the best performance of all the rookie quarterbacks, but that ain't saying a whole lot.
They ain't saying nothing.
That ain't saying nothing.
Nothing at all.
How do we go waiver wire pick? Well, you're not getting them on waiver wires anymore without saying Chuba Hubbard. Now that CMC is once again injured.
We talked about Chuba Hubbard.
Yeah, but we didn't talk about him during the waiver wire pickup segment.
Okay.
So
he's a waiver wire pickup.
But you can't get him now. He went from like 10% on to 85% on the night CMC went down.
But that's honestly, CMC is going to be gone for what, 2 weeks?
Yeah, probably at least
2 weeks.
Yeah. Are you interested in picking up Dalton Schultz after his 2 touchdown performance last week?
No.
They're splitting. They're using him and Blake Jarwin so evenly that it's going to be some games when Dalton Schultz has an excellent game, some games when Blake Jarwin has an excellent game, and a whole bunch of games, I think, when neither one of them does anything, especially once Michael Gallup gets back. So
yeah, I mean,
if I'm desperate at tight end, I pick him up, but I'm hopefully not that desperate. Yeah.
That's a desperate move, honestly, because he's not going to get the targets or the touchdowns that you need.
Yeah.
You can get a touchdown-dependent tight end like Gronk or something like that.
He might be harder to pick up. He's been balling out this early season.
I know. I got him. Yeah. Don't worry about that. Yeah.
Justin apologizes for picking on my Raiders, but it's too late.
Justin, he's not gonna ban you. Don't worry about it.
Nah, I can't ban my man Justin. If you can still get Tim Patrick, I think he's worth picking up. Like we said earlier in the show, with KJ Hamler out and Jerry Jeudy out, I think he's a decent. You can do worse at your wide receiver options than him. So
yes. So
yeah,
that's all I got for waiver wire pickups. If you know somebody else to pick up,
any suggestions from the audience, we appreciate it. We've been talking about these rookies. We spent a great deal of time on a bunch of quarterbacks. Fast shots at skill position guys. Who you been impressed with?
Najee Harris.
The wide receiver? Yes.
The running back.
What does he have more of this year? Rushing yards or receiving yards?
Hold up.
I'm just asking a question for the audience. Everybody in the audience might not follow fantasy football as much as we do. So for the benefit of our viewers, does Najee Harris have more rushing yards or receiving yards?
Hold up. Is Eckler
and does he have more rushing touchdowns or receiving touchdowns?
Hold up. Let me ask you this. Is Eckler a running back or receiver?
Hey, I've said before Eckler was a receiver.
But what is he listed as?
He carries the RB tag, but he's a receiver.
My point exactly.
Uh-huh.
Najee Harris is doing what Eckler's doing. So he's a running back that catches out the backfield.
He's a
I
receiver.
don't know why you so salty, man.
I'm
Why
not
you so
salty.
You're so salty for man. The man is doing good.
He's doing great.
Salty.
And I told the R&J Fantasy Football audience that you should book Najee Harris because he's going to be a great receiver in this league. And he's between him and Jamar Chase, I think the Rookie of the Year award, it can't be anyone other than those two. And so, Najee Harris has an early lead as the best receiver coming into the league this year. Who runs the ball every once in a while? Occasionally.
No, okay. He gets a lot of share of that offense.
96% of the snaps.
Yes. So he is going to get the catches out the backfield. And he's a running back. I don't get it.
He's a running back who doesn't run. Awesome. Okay. Awesome.
Okay. If you feel that way.
Hey.
I like Jamar Chase, though. I like Javonte Williams. I think Javonte Williams is going to take full control of that offense.
I don't think this year. But, I think he's going to get more.
About halfway point, he's going to be take full control of that offense. He's already at 55% of the offense now in the backfield. So he's going to take the whole thing once it's all said and done, and probably about mid-season.
Okay.
Because Gordon is...
Hey, Gordon is top 5, 6 running back so far. It's going to drop down tremendously. Don't get me wrong.
He had that one game where he went over 100 yards. I mean, geez.
Okay.
I'm just saying, Javonte Williams
my man Melvin. Gordon the third. But Javonte Williams is obviously going to take a larger share of that offense. But I don't think Melvin Gordon is going anywhere this year.
And I'm gonna give you a surprise one. He started slow. He just started getting reps for Micah Carter.
Yeah, I have him written down.
It's gonna be another one that's gonna surprise a lot of people. It took him some time to get the starting role because Coleman got hurt, but he's gonna actually.
He ain't hit that touchdown pater yet, but if you have Michael Carter on your squad, it's coming.
It's coming. He led the team in total yards, running backs in total yards last week with 83. So he's definitely going. I picked him up twice today.
Oh, did you? Yeah.
Yeah. So I picked him up twice, and I think he's gonna do work. So I think he's definitely good. So, but Jamar Chase should win Rookie of the Year though, definitely. Yeah. So
here's my guy I talked about. Jaylen Waddle.
He's starting slow though, man.
He's got 167 receiving yards. That's third amongst rookie wide receivers. The only thing that's going to hold him back, obviously, is quarterback play. And whether it's Tua or Jacoby Brissett, they're limited. But here's the deal with him. Between Devontae Parker and William Fuller, who's once again hurt. It's one of those. He came back for this one game and got hurt in it. I don't think he's. We'll find out by the weekend whether I know they were limiting his practice today.
Yeah,
we'll see whether he plays. But just in that, and this is what I said about Jaylen Waddle at the beginning of the season. He's in a situation where they're going to have to rely on him because they don't have any other wide receivers that can stay healthy. So it's really Gesicki and Jaylen Waddle. So he's doing all right with it. He's getting 77% of the snaps so far. Only one touchdown, but he's getting the yards. So
let's show some love to some defensive guys. Parson has looked great.
Yeah.
Man, they moved him to defensive end. And he has really looked good.
Defensive end linebacker guy. So, he can.
Oh, my gosh. Yeah. Yes, he has looked good. Definitely. Asante Samuel Jr. has looked good. The cornerback, he's probably going to be a bona fide number one.
Yeah.
So, those two guys I'm looking at on the defensive end are doing really good. So, got to show some defensive love. Those guys are doing good. So. Can't be mad. So that's what I got for my rookies, finishing it up. So,
all right. No Trey Sermon.
Trey Sermon had a touchdown last week, but he's not going. He got a chance to. Well, I take that back. Eli Mitchell probably gonna start this week. Right. So
And he is leading all rookie running backs right now.
He got to keep it going though.
So
got to keep it going.
The thing about it with him, and I was looking at Trey Sermon and Elijah Mitchell, and I have both of them on one team. Yeah. But the thing is with Kyle Shanahan,
one got to pop off.
Whoever's hot, you know what I'm saying? So
I think he'd rather have Eli Mitchell, but we'll see.
Yeah.
Trey Sermon is just both of them good, but I think Eli Mitchell just a tad bit better.
Which is crazy because your 6th round guy is outperforming your 3rd round guy, and hey,
it'd be that way sometimes.
That's how it goes. Justin asked the question: should he pick up Kirk? Should I? Hold up. It's a question. So I should pick up Kirk. I guess because he's dropping Fields. Yes.
Yeah, Kirk Cousins is better.
Drop Justin Fields. Pick up Kirk Cousins. Definitely.
Yeah, definitely. So.
Because Kirk Cousins is balling out right now, and I don't see that changing.
With those 2 receivers out there, man.
Hey, what messed me, I told y'all about KJ Osborne, and
told you don't do that.
Finally, unfortunately, Tyler Conklin, TJ, the tight end in Minnesota showed up this week, right when my daily fantasy team, I picked up KJ Osborne, because it's like, all right, this should be another easy money that they were playing against the Seahawks. So and that's when they decided to throw to the tight end again. I was like, what happened to all the 3 wide receiver sets?
I told you not to do it. I said with those 2 receivers out there, it's not gonna happen. Those 2 receivers are just that's all. No big deal.
But that's what we got.
That's all I got.
All right, well, hey, thanks for everybody for your questions. Thanks for being a part of the show. Main thing to keep in mind, these are rookies we're talking about, so be patient. Except for that wide receiver, Nigel Harris, you really shouldn't be depending on too many of those rookies anyway.
Gosh.
He's the only rookie. Him and Jamar Chase are the only 2 rookies that I really have a lot of faith in as far as dependable parts of your team. So if you got one of those wide receivers or running back, if you want to call them so, you'll be fine. For everybody else, just be patient. Give it time. It's week 3. They'll get better.
Yeah. Don't panic.
Yeah.
And don't push the panic button, because I know a couple guys that's doing that nowadays. Just, it's okay. It's a long season.
Yeah. It's a long season. I meant to mention earlier, I see in my notes, I was going to point out an article on Yahoo by a guy, Jay Busby, if you follow him. He talks about rookie quarterbacks, and he goes through Peyton Manning, Troy Aikman, and Brett Favre's first year. They were all awful. So
yeah, just
give
be
it time.
patient. It's okay. Give it time.
They're going to be fine. So,
well, we appreciate y'all.
Yeah.
Check out the Saturday show. You know what time. You know how we do that. But like we say, we're here. We ain't going nowhere. And we appreciate y'all. See y'all on Saturday.
See y'all then. Find us on social media. Follow, like, subscribe. 40-second play clock coming this Saturday. See y'all then. Peace.